Well, very good morning, everybody, for Monday, the 6th of July. Big milestone for us today. We are restarting instruction with the lots of PPE that we've got, but big milestone and hopefully a reasonable cross-country day as well. What do we have? Well, we have the frontal areas have gone through over the last couple of days and it was quite breezy overnight, but we're left with this sort of post-frontal air mass, but the high pressure not building in particularly as fast as we would like. It's leaving us quite a strong northwesterly wind, probably a little bit stronger than we would like, with 25 knots in some places, but at least it's going to be a bit drier of a day compared to the previous and hopefully a bit less windy. Those that flew yesterday, I think, yeah, we really did see 30 to 35 knots up there at times. But well done to Andy and Gary for a pretty good flight. Okay, with those winds, we have got not quite down the runway today. It's a little bit more northwesterly. So we're looking at somewhere in the region of west-northwest, northwesterly, 20 to 25 knots. On the ground, probably somewhere in the region of 15, gusting 20. We can see that on the public forecast, which is currently showing, broadly the same. Slight, maybe a couple of degrees off the temperatures on this. This is not predicting the amount of the same amount of sun that we are hoping for, but still showing that fresh west-northwesterly breeze, but not gusting as much as it said it might have done when we looked at this forecast earlier in the week. The satellite picture shows that we have got fairly clear air over us at the moment, but sort of lingering cloud residual moisture is not too far away and will cause us a bit of a headache during the day. As I drove in, I did see a couple of signs of there's probably some wave interference up there. Not greatly surprising considering the wind direction, but we can sort of see that in the satellite picture. And it's probably worth noting that we did have this a couple of weeks ago on a Monday. So Mondays and wave suppression are probably not the greatest accommodations. The infrared is showing not too much in the way of significant upper cloud, maybe a bit of a thin layer, but nothing particularly much. It's generally at the lower levels that we're seeing potentially a little bit too much cloud later in the day. Temperatures, as we were saying earlier, especially with the wind, will feel a little bit lighter. I think, so the Met Office was showing 16. We're hoping more for about maybe 17, 18 degrees here. And dew points down to almost single figures. Currently, we have about 15 degrees and a dew point of 7. So I think dew points are still rising a little bit, but I think we've already got some cumulus out there. Yep, fairly big cumulus actually. So hopefully not too long. We're going to have to wait today. Looking at the METAR as well. Farnborough predicting at the moment potentially some gusty conditions till lunchtime and few at 4,500 feet for most of the day, which is pretty nice. At the moment, they haven't picked up the fact there's cloud. Maybe they've managed to scare it all away. Okay, top meteo. I think this is probably a little bit pessimistic. I'm not sure. It's showing quite narrow task areas, but into wind maybe up towards the northwest. Looking reasonable, and of course not really any chance so much of a sea breeze front encroaching on us today with that northwesterly wind. If we look at 11 o'clock, around here we should have cloud base probably around 3,500 feet above sights. Slightly lower into the Midlands, relatively similar out into the West Country and to the east. So fairly good for us to hopefully start around 11 there. During the day we can see cloud does bubble up a little bit too much, but yeah, broadly showing the same as the METAR, getting to around 4,500 feet above sights. Probably later in the day, some chance of some more sort of cloud in the way up towards Wales, but good over most of the task area by mid-afternoon, just the strength of the wind. And by mid to late afternoon, might even see cloud base 5,000 feet above sight in some places. So not too bad, just the strength of the wind to look at. Cloud amounts If we look at midday, we can see that there's a bit of cumulus spread out or congestus getting in the way, and some low cloud over the Welsh mountains. And it just comes and goes. I think that's effectively what David said as well. It will be a changeable air mass, maybe some of his very famous cold air advection as well. But yeah, changeable sort of air mass. We might get periods where it's a little bit cloudy. It might open up a bit more again a bit later. But with the strength of the sun, it shouldn't become unsoarable at any points. But just mind the potential of wave suppression. In fact, Andy Lincoln, if you're listening, I think you've got to, I think, the base of the airspace, flight level 65 in wave yesterday out towards Andover. So, yeah, it's definitely wave about. Okay, probably end of the day, if we look at 6 o'clock, still working reasonably, but maybe a little bit of too much cloud coming in by then. So end of the day, probably 6 o'clock, looks like if you're still out to the northwest, it should be still reasonably good. With a following wind, you should be fine. Wind should be reducing as well by then. The soundings, a bit tricky with these. They just showed lots of cloud, but I guess it's not particularly surprising. This is Buckingham at 1 o'clock, showing climbs to 4,000 feet, but maybe a little bit of, or a bit too much of spread out. Maybe even showing just a little bit of drizzle, potentially at cloud base there. But I think that's just the model. And Fairford at 3 o'clock, not quite agreeing with top meteo. This is showing quite a lot of cloud with a chance of a bit of drizzle coming out of that cloud, again to about 5,000 feet or so. Okay, NOTAMs, Solent active, they're still on 12 to late at the moment, though they are being quite friendly with transits. Boscombe down, their general areas active 8 and 6 today. Bulford's active all day. Parachuting at Old Sarum, just checking that's, parachuting at Old Sarum today and tomorrow. But it's quite windy for parachuting, so of course Old Sarum's not generally available to powered aircraft anymore, or gliders, but they have been putting hay bales on the runway occasionally, a bit political, all that. But yes, Old Sarum are parachuting today, maybe some gliding at Chiltern Park, paragliding near Shelbourne, but other than that, fairly clear over a reasonable area. Cambridge active. Yeah, not too much other in the way of airspace. Obviously, the flying schools are open again. So with that in mind, please do keep a good lookout, because we're probably likely to see more traffic density over the coming few weeks than we have in the previous few. Remember that the Farnborough airspace came in late in the winter, and we've not really seen a full day with all the traffic from the power community and the glider community active. So keep an eye out, let us know if you see anything, and if you want to use the airspace, do get a clearance and make use of it. Okay, just to cover the instructional things, because this briefing is combined as one, because otherwise it takes too much time. Launch points out the runway. Winching will be in progress for the day. Those that have private gliders, you would have had, if we deem you eligible, a authorization to winch without check flights. Otherwise, get booked in with the booking system, which is with the office. And get yourself a check flight to get on the winch. We're being very, very cautious with winching, obviously increasing the risk. So yeah, make sure that as you're operating around the airfield, be aware the cables are back, normal launch point, no jet movements today. PPE, obviously PPE is mandatory in gliders that are having two crew in them, same for our tugs. And PPE is available in the launch points. If you want it for a private glider, it's 60p, comes with a good mask and some gloves. It's at different times now. I will post up at the end of this the daily instructional list for the day and the glider bookings. But other than that, have a really good day, and we'll see you on the grid. Bye for now.